46 years ago, when I was 5 to 6 years old, in my room in Hong Kong, I had a bunch of car posters. I now own the 5th generation of all of them. So for the people listening in who've never been to a car meet or car show, whatever, people just think car show in a convention center, to kind of give the brevity of statistics, there is Monterey Car Week is only second to the Masters for the number of private jets at an airport.
Welcome to SS Customs Podcast. Under wraps, today we are going over some. We actually have a close friend of mine that's been becoming a closer and closer friend as the years go on, and one of our top 5. Actually, he doesn't want me to say top 5. He wants to say top 3 clients of all time. We got JW in the house today, aka what's his nickname you give him?
Be careful. Tread lightly. Because this is only 1 hour long, and the rest of your life could be affected.
You see how that deflection went, bro? This burly guy was like, you better be careful. All right, but we have John in the building, and he works here at SS Customs. He started off here as one of our clients, became one of our top clients over the years, and has affinity for really nice things when it comes to automotive and style and everything else that you come to love in the lifestyle of luxury automotive that you can think of. And he's also now part of our team as of recently.
Thank you, Sharif.
Started off as one of our business advisors and is growing in SS Customs family, and we will see where the roads lead going forward, but it's looking very exciting. Very happy to have you on board, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
And looking forward to the future.
Appreciate it, mate.
All right. So we also have.
Just a quick question.
Go ahead.
AJ doing here? We've established our relationship.
Wow. Yeah. Wait. Why am I here?
Speaking of AJ, we also have AJ here, our lovely co-host, and he's going to be throwing off some questions.
I feel the love.
Yeah. AKA the nickname. What was that?
Play your cards carefully, like young buck.
So we got AJ in the house as well, which I'm sure you're going to have your own set of questions here to ask lovely John today.
I'm going to interject.
But John has a very, quite the experience of a lifetime in terms of the experiences that he's had in his lifetime growing up to where he's at today. From a young little lad out in UK, I want to say.
That's pretty good. I'll give you that with the lad word.
To where he's at today here in the stateside, fugitive on the run. So we will get into that.
To Dwayne Johnson stuff.
If Ice gets hold of this, you're coming with me. You're relocating with me.
Let's go, man. I've always wanted to go to London. But anyways, we're here today, and I want to go ahead and just let John take a little bit of the floor in terms of maybe you can start off with how you found out about SS Customs and what brought you here, and then and how you kind of got involved in, and then we can go back in time a little bit and talk about the early years.
Okay. That belies that I'm older. Okay, so let's get to stuff with the young buck stuff. SS Customs. So I like nice things, as Sharif says. I have my run of cars, as they would say, and I like aftermarket stuff. Let's be clear. SS Customs provides, I don't know, for lack of a better word, dreams. You take a car that you love, you get really excited about it, and you want someone else with more experience but the same vision to take that car to the next level. So I did my research, but it wasn't the reputation or the longevity SS Customs has, which it does. It's, nearly 20 years in. It was actually visiting the site, which is the older building than this one we're in now, talking to the people. I met Tanya and Sharif. They don't remember me from back then, but if anyone's going to participate in my life, with the things I work very hard on and cost a lot of money, then it has to be somebody that I get along with, somebody that shares the vision, the energy, the humor, in that it's absolutely ridiculous what I'm doing here, but it's a necessary for my life. SS Customs fit the bill top to bottom, and that's why I chose SS Customs. Not because of the billboard, not because of your Yelp reviews, simply because of the visceral energy. As soon as you walk into the shop, everyone's family. Everyone's ride or die. Everyone wants to talk cars. And that's actually why I asked for a job. About 2 years later.
Please hire me, sir.
There you go. That's why I'm at SS Customs in a concise way.
Nice.
All right, there we go. What was your time like as Dwayne Johnson's stunt double?
It was good. It was a little on the smaller side. Better smile.
Yeah. Oh, better smile. All right. Yeah, see, he's the Asian version. You know, he's not the Rock, he's the Pebble. But
Oh,
You're like Lenny from Mice and Men.
what just happened?
If anybody you've seen of all the older generation seen Mice and Men, AJ looks like Lenny.
yeah, except nobody watching this was born in the 20s like you.
40s maybe. But yeah, that's why I'm at SS Customs.
Said, which
It's
way
good
did
energy.
he go, George?
You know, I challenge all 5 listeners to come down and test me on that theory. I hope you don't meet AJ or myself, but yeah, SS Customs is the business.
Hey, man,
No,
I
love to have a good
appreciate the
time.
kind words. Thank you very much for that.
It's true.
What made you take the decision? I know you said that you got involved in business because, you know, it's a family aspect. But there's a reason why you've been coming to SS Customs so far is because you have a passion in the automotive space or arena. Now, we had this conversation a couple times before where you were like, hey, man, I've always liked nice cars. I've been able to get into a couple of nice things over the years. But when was it that you really started in recent times taking a dive into? You seem like a very disciplined. You're always on the go working and doing other things like that. So when did you actually have the time to step into one of your passions of automotive? Seems like it might have been something as of recent.
Yes. Last 2 or 3 years. I got into a space of my life where I was very comfortable. Yeah, I fell in love. And then realized over 3 years that I am in my final chapter. I'm in my 50s, early 50s. And if you're not going to, I worked since I was 19. I worked at a very high level since I was 27. That means I've been working nonstop, 2.5 to 3,000 hours a year for the better part of my adult life. But once I found an emotional connection with another human being, then I realized what am I doing it all for, right? And then there's only one thing that actually transcends a love for another person: cars. I love cars. So once bottom line is this: I didn't realize how much cars made a difference, how fun it was, how emotional it is. And yes, I'm a petrol head through and through. And I finally, at a point in my career, that I had the disposable income, the emotional flexibility to accommodate cars. And I wanted to be not only part of a business, but to have my cars serviced by the same ideology, just in it, no matter what. So easiest way to explain is this. 10 years ago, I would judge a person by the way they made their cars. Maybe their rims. They put Daytons on a Datsun 240Z, and I would criticize it, okay? Or I would see some cultures, putting 32-inch rims on a, 65 Impala, all right? Southern style, donking it, and I would criticize. And I got over myself. I'm like, if you put money into your car, no matter what, good on you. It's a passion project. I would, especially in the United States, Second Amendment, right? So, United States is the gun is the great equalizer. No, it isn't. Cars are the great equalizer. I think the easiest way to explain is this: my first cars and coffee, Treasure Island, San Francisco.
Ooh, that was
I rolled up. I had a 2014 Camaro ZL1. Pretty proud of it. And I got out. First thing I saw was 4 white guys in their 60s, 3 Ferraris and 1 Pagani. Okay, found out later they're all from Northern California, Marin. To the left of them, 4 brothers from Oakland in their 20s, donking it. All 4 cars.
Nice.
All 8 of them were drinking coffee and laughing. You find me anywhere else on planet Earth that would happen.
Texas.
Anywhere. Bars, clubs, except for Cars and Coffee.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like Cars and Coffee brought 4 very rich white guys from Marin together with 4 brothers from Oakland at 7:30 in the morning drinking coffee.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Yeah.
I was sold. I was a full petrol head after that.
Okay, so, and I'm not talking shit when I ask this, because I love all the cars that you have. Why do you stick with such a basic customization? Like, why not go beyond and do more make it more unique, make it more like do more instead of just like wheels, PPF, which doesn't change it visually.
Bolt-ons, you mean? Bolt-ons.
No, because that's performance. I'm talking like to change it visually. Like, why not wrap a car? You always do PPF. Why not put a body kit on a car? Why not?
I feel like there's a conflict of interest with that question, because what I found out from wraps is wraps they're not durable. You know me well enough.
Yeah.
You know I'm selling my car in 4 to 5 years, yet I get the lifetime package for ceramic coating.
That's what I'm saying.
I go above and beyond, and I like wraps, but here's the thing. For cars, I respect the manufacturer's drive because my cars, right?
Yeah.
The current collection.
Yeah.
It's like messing with the Mona Lisa. I'm not going to take a Ferrari 812 and put a rainbow wrap on it or an iridescent wrap. I want to leave it Corsa Rosa red, right? So I respect the cars that, also, I think another way to answer your question is this. I'm a little older than you. So approximately I talked to Sharif about this, 46 years ago, when I was 5 to 6 years old, in my room in Hong Kong, I had a bunch of car posters. I now own the 5th generation of all of them.
Oh, that's nice.
Right? So
That's
the Ferrari Daytona, I own the 812 Ferrari. The Eleanor had the Shelby GT500, right? So I own the latest iteration of all the cars that I wish I could have when I was 6 years old. And so the purity of the form, the color, and the manufacturer's OEM design means something to me.
Yeah, no homage behind it.
Yeah.
Okay, I respect it. That's why I was just curious.
And also, by the way, for me, elegance is just enough tweak to make it your own, but not to get away from it. Like, wait, I think that's modified. That's my bag.
Yeah, I learned that was called apparently OEM Plus. That's it.
Yeah,
It sounds even worse when you say it.
It's very NorCal, man. NorCal has this vibe of everybody wants to be noticed, but more like a double take, right? So you have to look back at it, versus where some other parts of California where you got to see, they want to be noticed from a mile away.
Yeah.
It's got to be the loudest color, the loudest exhaust, the loudest everything, right?
Yeah.
And it's more about presence of being noticed. Whereas, like I said, more NorCal, the kind of vibe that we have here is more like muted colors, satin gray, matte black, things like that. People want to have some wheels, maybe do something a little bit so that way they stand apart out from the rest. People have to look at the car 2 times, but not have to be noticed from blocks and blocks away, right?
Yeah.
So I think John has that kind of approach when it comes to this stuff. For the context, most of his cars come in here. We do PPF or some maybe correction if they're a little bit of more of a car that's more classic for him and not brand new purchased. Most of his cars are generally bought brand new and their paint protection film is applied to it, and then he gets wheels and tires, and sometimes he'll get exhaust systems, but they're pretty bolt-on performance and aesthetic. I think you kind of said it best, where you kind of lean on whoever the designer is for the vehicle that captivated you in the first place. You leave it to them to kind of.
Yeah, I'll interject on that. That's why I like SS Customs. I know I'm an SS Customs podcast, but I choose to be here. And the best part of SS Customs, behind me, there are 8 to 10 cars. You can come here, get bolt-on, put a little OEM Plus on it, layer that, right? Or you can wow out.
Yeah.
Like you are the loudest MF in the building when you come rolling out of here, like your car.
Really?
Almost.
It's that tacky?
Almost. No, it's not tacky. You did it right.
Oh,
you can't bag a car. There's 2 ways to bag a car: tacky or do it right. There is no middle ground in bagging, right? But no, I just think that SS is going to cater to the customer.
Yeah.
They're going to add, like when we did the GT500. You said, why don't we do this? I didn't even think of it. On the calipers and the pepper gray on the, an ode out to the original Eleanor. That's SS Customs. It's, no, you're wrong, we're right. They don't take that approach. It's, what is your vision? Let me tell you what's realistic, and let me tell you my experience of what may look good.
Yeah.
That's the bag, man.
And that's actually helped me a lot from a sales perspective as well, working in sales here. Because I always tell them, I was like, look, we can do whatever you want to do, because at the end of the day, we can undo that. And my goal here is to make your vision come to life. This is what I'd recommend, but I'm always down to sit here and see how it looks. Because for all I know, what you want could look better than what I'm envisioning, and it could be fire. Just like we did the red emblems on the C300. I told him, I was like, hey, bro, it may not be the move. And I love the guy. He's so nice. I was like, it may not be the move. He's like, but let's just try it. Let's see how it looks. And we did it. And he was like, You're right, but he was so happy that he did it though, because then you actually get to see it. There's no regret. You're not doubting yourself, and it wasn't like the most expensive thing to redo type of thing. So
Right on.
yeah, no, it's definitely fun.
And now we have a visualizer, so he could have did that first. On the
I did
3D
that first. That's what made him want to do it. Because I
Oh my
did that
God.
first. Because I told him, I was like, bro, I don't think that's going to look that good. And then I sent it to him. And then the 3D software made it look better. It looked better in that render than it did in real life.
Yeah, no, it was. Well, I've done that so many times in the past. Sometimes you just gotta let it play out for the client's sake.
Yep.
And then they'll know what's up, what isn't. Now that you get to be in that same position, because before you were on the opposing side of the desk, right? Now you're there. Clients walk in, and you're on the other side of the desk. Albeit, you started off being someone that I respect and admire a lot in business and in discipline. And for you guys to give you context, John's been someone that I've always had a keen liking to. And as of recent times, I've realized, okay, he's a savage mofo when it comes to business and personality. He built 8-figure businesses. And now he's here becoming, hey, can I come on board as a business advisor? Which is looking like it's morphing into even deeper parts of the company as he starts to be here and evolve more with his positions here at SS Customs. But now that you're on the opposing side of the desk and you're standing there, customers walk in, and now you're the one giving them advice. You're the one who's able to share some of your background story of automotive history and stuff they used to love and your posters and things like that. And I catch you often having stories with clients or like walking them through something that you might think is a cool aspect of design. So it's not as much as what you want now when you come to the door of what's influencing your builds. You're actually affecting other people and their influences.
Yeah.
And in their personal endeavors. So that must be something
That was
different.
a huge learning curve. Actually, AJ checked me once. He's like, look, talking too much. Because I get into it, right, with the cars, and I forget where I am. And then also there's a conflict of interest in sales. It's like, okay, we got to keep the person on a path here. Because if they did what you did, it's $25K, right? Maybe they don't want to do that. So the step one was learning my audience. Not every petrol head's a petrol head, okay? Step two is engage when requested to be engaged. If I go to a car meet, I just jump into conversation, right? So at SS Customs, you have to be more tempered because you don't want to come across as a bully, right? Because so step three was really trying to learn that everyone that walks through the door, and this is quite a recent phenomenon at SS, is they're me when I never came to SS. They're me on car number one, not car number we've done 16 to 20 cars of mine. So they're me on car number one where I was open-eyed, wondrous, had no idea the process, and go easy on them, right? Instead of bogarting them with, I've done 20 cars and you should be here. You should listen more, like you guys listen to me. So for me, working at SS Customs has flipped the script insofar that I'm now learning more about a huge brevity of individuals' taste. You guys have saved me hundreds of thousands of dollars. By working here, I don't feel like buying another car. So there's that.
Because you get to live vicariously through everybody else. Yeah, you get to live vicariously.
I was buying a car every 2 to 3 months. Now I haven't bought a car in 4 months.
No,
that's not true. Never mind, but it's getting there. So you're about to save me money.
You're weaning yourself off of it.
When did he just buy a car?
Like a month ago.
No, I was
Not even, bro.
I think it was 2-3 weeks ago. Bentley.
It was 2-3 weeks ago, man.
Was that only 2-3 weeks ago?
It was that beautiful ride.
2 weeks before that, got the
UK
allocation
ride.
for the RSQ8, and then
Yeah, it's like every other week is
DB12.
Like, so, yeah,
he's
so-
waiting to buy a client's allocation for a RS3.
There's somebody in the room that just opened her eyes because wait, what?
No.
I've never seen the deer in the headlights look on you until right now.
Oh my God.
Your eyes went, oh shit.
No, look, I'm sure that it'll slow down a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Because he's gonna, he has to be able to vicariously live through his. I mean, the thing is, he can walk to SS Customs to see all different types of cars.
Yeah, that's.
But I think what he does is start. Oh, I think I'm gonna buy one of these. He just starts walking around looking at cars.
I've sat in. It's so inappropriate. I've sat in almost every one of your customers' cars. Just sitting
Well,
in
the
there.
doors are open. We're working on them, so
They will not like to hear that, but I did.
Oh my God.
As long as sitting is the only thing you're doing,
Yeah.
I think you're okay.
Yeah, nobody wants you to pass.
I better not see no
Like at
little
a
white
car
stains
show.
anywhere.
No, I got a nice ass. This all work out. It all works out for everybody.
So to kind of break away a little bit from SS and more into you and your past, I know that you've mentioned to me that your current wealth has been a recent wealth. Like it's not something that you've had for a long period of your time, within like what, last 10, 12 years, right?
Yes.
So
I'm what you consider new money,
yes. So
but did it the old school way.
yeah, brick and mortar,
Yeah,
stepping into
step
place,
by
doing the
step.
whole thing, building your own companies. But there was something that happened 10 to 12 years ago where a light switch flipped somewhere and you figured it out. What was that? Because you were
Figured
doing
what out?
like
How to make money?
Yeah, like how to actually build your success.
How many? Just give paint a picture for what AJ is trying to say. How many people are you staffing right now?
In total, across all the companies that I manage, I always do this. Whoever you can fire is counted as a number. So I can fire 478 people.
Okay, so from being the guy,
They aren't fired, by the way, if anybody's listening to this.
You're
No,
safe
I'm just
for
saying.
now.
from being
Until
the
tomorrow
guy
morning
who
and arrive
was-
at work. Right?
Exactly. From being the guy who was by himself, being a bouncer at the front door of, let's say, some nightclub in San Francisco Bay Area, to having that many people that are under your purview and building an 8-figure company. The switch turned on at some point. I think it was AJ is saying. Where
12 years ago. Like what happened 12 years ago?
I'll just say, I mean, AJ's right. He wasn't there because he was like 13 years old at the time. But it's, I think it's about right. It's almost
No,
about
you're
right.
not there. No,
Okay.
I was 15, 16.
So you were a teenager, wee lad. Yeah, it was actually like the light switch. I figured out the following conditions. It doesn't actually matter your academics, which I have a lot. It doesn't matter work experience, which I have a lot. It actually doesn't even matter about, which all adds to it, but at that time, to answer the question, it didn't even matter about my work ethic. These are the following things that I all realized almost in an epiphanic standpoint. One, if you ask in the right way with the right timing, which actually presents itself more often than not, you usually get what you want because most people are not used to people asking in the right timing, in the right way. Two, money is out there. There's a ton of it. And most of the people that hold the money don't actually know how to keep it. They just know how to spend it. So be on the recipient end. Three, present. 90% of business is optics. It is. I've been in engineering circles. I've been in security solution circles. I've been in tech circles. I've been in project management circles, retail circles, manufacturing circles, and now car circles. It doesn't change. A lot of the reason Sharif has hired me is how I present, how I dress, how white my teeth are, how I walk, how I sit, how I speak to customers, how my breath smells. It's all minutia. It's not one thing above the other, but it's a collection of things that if you pass the optics test, not a book by its cover, that's very, very different, because what that is presumptuous. Optics is a participating tone of how you present in business. So if you get that clear, because I know a lot of people that have multiple masters, a couple of doctorates, professors in Oxford, which are my cousins. I have a professor in Oxford, professor in Cambridge, are my cousins. They make no money. And what we're talking about is wealth.
Yes.
Right? Wealth is actually quite easy if you follow those basics. I'm telling you, I was a security guard at a door at Bambuda Lounge in 2005 after losing millions in stock options when I was a very, very front runner in the tech industry for nearly 6 years. I developed the very first programming guide on television in the history of mankind. That's all very well said, right, on a mic. What that did was taught me nothing. What taught me something is intervention people. So while I stood at a door and opened doors for people for nearly 20 years, I learned the human condition. I learned how to read people, but not read people like sitting at this table, read people under a great deal of stress. So it comes down to the last thing to answer your question, and you've heard me say this to you, AJ, when you know, lead. When you don't know, lead. Because leaders don't have the luxury of, backing out.
Yeah.
And if people, it doesn't matter your academics. If people see that person, I'm hiring them.
Yeah.
Because I do that today. And but then I don't know anything about the car business before Sharif. Yeah. And now I'm learning very quickly because of those fundamental skill set. I am product, service, and industry agnostic. That's why, on a final note, there's some young people here that work at SS Custom that's asked me, hey, I'm going back to school. What should I learn? I'm like, I don't care what you learn, but if you're in it for the money and success, make sure your skill set is product and service agnostic, which means it doesn't matter what the building sells, it doesn't matter what its service is. As long as you can manage it, wealth will become easy.
I respect the answer. That's a solid answer. Kind of just smacks you in the face a little bit. It's like, man, I don't even know what to say now. No,
Wow,
I really,
speechless,
I really appreciate.
I win. My headset's coming off. Podcast is over. AJ speechless for the first time in podcast history.
Nah, because you answered so thoroughly that it didn't even leave room for any follow up questions, which I love. Like it's.
I also know how to put people in a box.
Oh, okay, okay.
Well, it's really
Speechless. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
He was enamored by you, man. He was just like,
Twinkles.
Come
Yay.
on, Twinkles. Okay. Okay.
All right, next.
no,
That's
serious.
wealth accommodation and management.
There you go. No, it's cool, man. Thanks for sharing that. I think that a lot of people who love to see people who've made it to somewhere, there's got to be something that pushed them, and I think that's what provoked AJ to ask that question. There's got to be some type of mental switch, something happens in your life, or it's a culmination of multiple things that bring you to the point where it's like, you know what, it's time for me to go and really go hard. So in business, you've done really, really well, and people don't understand that when you're doing something very focused in business, it's to get anywhere in life in the business world, it requires an immense amount of sacrifice, and you're sacrificing a lot of things along the way. And a lot of times it's
Like you.
Yeah, a lot of times it's time and energy and effort in other areas that you either you would like to do it or maybe you're just not keen to it. But it's part of the DNA build of someone who's a go-getter. You know what I mean? And I think you become conditioned to live in a place of constant, like, you're always fighting. You're always in that, in the trenches. And I think eventually you live there for so long, it becomes second nature. You have to be there. You have to want to always, fight hard and go to battle every day and build something, because you're addicted to the feeling of winning in business and just the overall competition.
You share that?
Things. Yeah.
What we've sacrificed. Mm-hmm. My partner my partner Justin, he's a partner in 2 of my companies, both the successful ones, so it's probably him. He always told me through all the war we've been through, all the litigation, all the exposure, capital exposure, it doesn't pay to be number one. It pays to be number 2.
Yeah.
Number 1, and Sharif knows this, what you didn't ask AJ is in the accommodation, aggregation, and management of wealth. What you also should have asked, is it worth it? For some, it's not, because in order to get there, you have to sacrifice absolutely, or willing to sacrifice absolutely everything.
Yeah, and that's also why I didn't ask, though, because, like, is it worth it? That depends on who you are.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Like, that can't,
there
is no answer to that.
This lesson is for people. First, you got to ask yourself, do I want to do this? Because there are really 3 constructs, right? Mm-hmm. The social order, friends.
Yep.
Family, and the personal balance.
So
those don't exist anymore. Not for any owner.
For you, because I know different people are different. For you, especially now that you've experienced love, and like you've experienced it, bro. Like I done seen you mention somebody's name, and then your whole face just kind of starts smiling. This man, this a workaholic who take personal calls at work now. Let me tell you.
I'm able to love. Yes.
Eventually. So with that being said, with you now have finally experienced that connection, do you think that you could have done everything that you did while having that connection at the beginning, or do you feel like you would have had to have sacrificed that connection 20 years ago?
Oh yeah, sacrifice the connection. Absolutely.
No, not what you would have done. Whether or not
knowing
you
what
had
I know
to
now,
do it.
knowing what I know now and what it feels like, do it all over again. I sacrifice it. I burned it to the ground.
Okay.
Because it's the only way to forge a field that I can see, and some, and it's a bit cheeky, but
because he's the opposite.
I consider myself a warrior.
Yeah.
It's war every single day. It's the greatest business. Is the greatest game in the world. Why? No barrier to entry. You don't need $1 to get into business, and you can play it till the day you die. There is no other sport or game like it.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a degree. You don't have to have size. You don't have to have good looks. But if you get out there and just keep going. So I had to hedge my field, scorched earth. That way, there are no trees, there are no mountains, and it's a flat field. I can see everything. That means, unfortunately, everything takes a back seat. But you also didn't ask me what kind of person I fell in love with.
Yeah.
That person, he or she.
He or she. Well, knowing you, we both know which direction.
Thank
that's
you,
gonna
sir.
Go.
You know me well enough.
Oh my God.
She's built just like me.
Yeah, he may or may not have been on a podcast couple before this. Blonde hair, slick back, shaved sides. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's also the person. But then you made a good point. Back to Sharif.
He did the opposite. He leaned into
Right.
it.
What did I do?
You didn't sacrifice your love for business and moving forward,
This is gonna
success and
get us in
everything.
so much trouble.
You leaned into it, and then you actually found your number one support through that, right? So whereas for who he was back then, and even who he is now, like
Win.
got to scorch it,
Over
got to win.
everything.
Whereas you found a lot of support with that, a lot of backbone through that.
I think for me it was there's a couple things there. You know, you're talking about a long time because I've been with my significant other Mickey for 17 plus years now.
Yeah.
So we knew each other in high school, and you know, obviously we got together post high school.
Mm-hmm.
But because I had nothing when we got together,
Yeah.
she was able to be there at that time in my life all the way across the board.
Yeah.
I was pretty much the front runner in that ship of being the ambitious one, to this, that, and the other. And there was a lot of conflict in our relationship for 17 years because I was here, or I was focused, I was working hard, working late, this, that. And that led to a lot of conversations at home where it was like, hey, when am I going to have time? Hey, when am I going to do this? I could have turned your goddamn mic down, you know that?
There's a radio a mistake
Turns
on
goddamn
AJ's
mic down.
audio station. Jesus, man.
What are you, this is podcasting 101 or something,
You're like
bro?
11
A
years
podcast
old.
for
You're
dummies?
like a child. We have a child. It was very emotional. I was solely into the
This guy,
story,
like,
and all I hear is,
Click, click.
and I'm like, what just happened?
Oh, my
The
God.
look on your face when you realized what it was.
All right, sorry, Sharif.
I know, it's all good, AJ. It's all
Oh
good.
my god.
I'll let you compose yourself.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm crying, but I'm good. We in here.
I don't think your drink is outside of you. I don't know if it's in here, but you know.
It almost came out because I was laughing too hard, bro. I swear I almost sprayed. I was like, I gotta go.
All right, going back to it because we were all emotionally caught up there for a second.
Yes.
So
Okay.
different approach to business.
No more protein shakes at the table.
At the
bro.
table, can't do it. I killed it. I wasn't expecting to go through it that quick.
No, it's all good, man. I'm proud of you for keeping up your health and doing better. So.
I'm trying.
But
Yes.
yeah, man, I forget where I was at. What was it? What was I talking about?
17 Truth Mickey.
Oh yeah,
Looking at
just
that,
oh yeah,
balancing
there was
that
a lot
out.
of hardships, man. There was a lot of hardships. It was not an easy road, put it that way. When you're
Yeah.
a very focused, dedicated person, in let's say in business or aspect or sports or whatever it is that you're doing, but you're very focused on that, you are going to sacrifice things, and sometimes it becomes a little bit. If the other person is not willing to understand that portion of it, if
Yeah.
you're a very focused individual, then you're gonna have issues. That's why you have to have an open conversation about that. Eventually, got to the point where I had to be like, look, if you want me to be this person that's just only gonna work 7-8 hours a day, come home, hang out, we do this, we do that, and then I'm living what I would say is some type of normalcy compared to what everything else is.
Yeah.
I will not be happy. And
Yeah.
so you're putting me in a box to make me unhappy to be able to be a person that I'm not. I'm not that person. I'm going to go hard at anything I do, and and that's something you'll either have to accept if you accept me as a person.
Yeah.
But once I was open enough to have that conversation where I could actually have that conversation and say, you know what, I got to say what's on my mind for real.
Yeah.
And just be willing to just, have that uncomfortable dialogue. After that point, it would become much easier because then I painted the picture in a much easier way that was palatable, as opposed to kind of dancing around it and doing what a lot of other people do in those situations.
Yeah.
And once that happened, it was like, okay, cool, now I understand you, and I'm still going to support you. It can go one of two ways. One is like, all right, cool, I'm out. All right, cool, you know what? I'm going to support you. And I'm glad that it was the latter answer because, it could have went the other way. Yeah. And that's an uncomfortable conversation you have to have with anybody that you're going to be in a relationship with, that this is who I am as a person, and this is what it's going to cause and issues. But there will be benefits, whether they're going to be this, that, and the other in the longer term. And I think we're both at a happier place in life where we are today, because she was able to understand me and I was able to understand her in that point of view. But it could have went the other way. So, to answer your question, I definitely did impose that type of lifestyle on her.
Yeah.
But I was open enough to have that dialogue. You know.
And then she was strong enough to be the rock and ride with you. And we can move on from the love stuff. But I will say one thing that you've said that has kind of altered my view on like how I'm viewing significant others in a positive in a positive way.
Pick his path, mate. I just reflect on the fact that I've wasted the last 20 years that I didn't have anybody with me.
Because of that, like there was a lot of weight to one thing you said, and it's definitely made me think about who I have in my life and then like whether or not to keep them or whether or not how serious I take them. And then I seen it in Sharif and I was like, man, like Sharif hadn't said this, but I know it was him. You found a woman who would be the only person on the world who can help you be who you want to be in the future. Like
I think you make a great point. It's not just your partner; it's your friends, your family.
Yeah,
that's what Sharif got right earlier than I did. But it's finding that social structure, family, friends, and spouse or significant other, to understand the following concept.
Yeah.
If you want to buy something and not look at the price tag, then they have to understand you have a job that you never look at the clock.
Yep.
Very well said.
Yeah. That one's all over Instagram.
Another gold star, John Windsor.
Oh,
there he goes, man.
But yeah, no, so that's some real stuff. So if you're out there, if you're in a business or you're starting a business and you're really trying to figure out how to balance the two, you know, look at that. Is the person that I'm with or the person that I want to be with somebody who can help me be who I want to be? Because that's such a large statement to me. Because I've always been give the shirt off my back to everybody else, like put everybody before me as much as I can until like there's certain times where it's like I got to put myself first. But yeah, man, like I would sacrifice my future for other people, and it's just like don't sacrifice my future for other people. Find the person who will help bring my future to fruition.
I think finding that person, you shouldn't.
Hard as shit.
No, it's not that. It's like I don't think many people who are very big professionals actually are searching for anything.
Yeah,
you're so
you're
so focused on what it is you want to do. So like on a warpath towards it.
Yeah.
If you believe in magnetism and if you believe in things that are attracted to things, whether they're a bad person is going to be attracted to certain types of karma, or a good person who's always putting out flow, or somebody who's working their ass off, whatever you want to call it, but it's going to push off a certain form of magnetism and is going to attract the things that you're focused on. So if you're focused on a warpath of going down a certain path of taking care of people, building your business, or doing something like that where you're just really focused on entrepreneurship but affecting people positively around you, that magnetism is going to pull those types of personas around you.
Yeah.
And without you even knowing it, you're going to be able to there is going to be a certain point on that path if you're willing to tread it long enough where something's going to click.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Let me borrow your magnet. Ours are broken. They take too long.
No.
Oh, well, you know what? I want to add one thing because I always want to get it off my chest, and now I have a platform for the world. I'd like to say this because it might be my last podcast ever.
Okay.
Considering my behavior so far. Okay. I am 51. For everybody between the ages of 21 and 40, if you want to be successful, stop making it about yourself. Stop thinking about yourself. The world's not to get you. It's not a conspiracy. Stop saying, treat me like an adult, talk to me like a man, or talk to me like a woman, respect my world. No, forget about it. Tuck it all away. Be humble. If you really that person, as you walk out the door, look back in your apartment, to your house, to the friends and family, and those are the people that love you. Nobody else gives a shit.
Yep.
So stop telling me, talk to you like a man, because if you want to win, you're going to come up against someone like me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to bury you because I can see you blocks away. And great, be a man. Be that 32-year-old. I got my own respect. And play PlayStation with your buddies in your room making $18,000 a year on welfare. Hate to be that guy, but the people that I know that are successful just keep going, and they don't blame anybody, including themselves.
Yeah.
They believe in themselves, blame no one, and get up every single day. I would attribute the best entrepreneurs to the best mothers I know. My sister said this, and I didn't, because I'm not a parent, but she said this, John, let me explain motherhood to you. I swing my legs off the bed, and as soon as it touches the ground, I know that I won't be back in this place for 18 hours. Like,
Valid.
The best mothers in the world, I can compare to the best entrepreneurs in the history of the world.
Yeah.
But just stop making excuses for yourselves, man. Go out and get it. Don't listen to anybody's criticism. Don't even listen to anybody's accolades. Believe in yourself. Compliment yourself. Get out there. And the only people you should listen to are the people that represent where, like you said, AJ, where you want to be, not where you are.
Yep.
Because if you're listening to people where you are, to guys like me, you're in the past. You are not my competitor. I win.
So where's your future?
This is my last lap, but it's a hell of a lap. I start again with SS Customs, and my future is simple: make SS Customs a huge amount of money.
Where do you see SS Customs 5 and 10 years from now?
If I can convince the person to my left, is a new shop every 18 months under an expansion or a franchise model. Take over Northern California, platform it out and leverage it across the United States. And then, because I am a Brit, set up shop in Europe. That's where I see SS Customs in 15 years. At the ripe old age of 66 is to be at the grand opening of SS Customs London.
Tough.
I'm down for that.
Oh, and then Amsterdam for AJ.
But I think I know where John's going to be moving back to. But yeah, that would be absolutely amazing to see that whole story unfold. We don't know what's around the corner, what's around the bend, what tomorrow brings. So I'm excited to see every day what that brings. And we have a new location that we're working on right now that we're chipping away at.
Hooray, hooray.
And it looks like we're very, very close. So that'll be something that we'll keep you guys up to date on as things moves along. But that's a big push from my brother from another sitting over here on my right. It's pushing me to get out of my comfort zone.
Come on, man.
But
Risk is a 4-letter word, just like fuck.
Yeah, this is true. I'm either going to say both. I'm probably going to say both of those many times going to the future.
He's going to open the grand opening. Fuck!
Exactly. And I'll be in the back going, risk.
Oh, my God. But, man, I'm looking forward to that. Now, jumping into the passion point of things, and we got a lot of good business talk there. But what was your first car, man?
First car in the United States would be a 1989 Honda CRX XI. If I could find that car again. That was a little banger.
Why don't you emphasize the United States, though? What was the first car?
1966 Fiat Cinquecetta, London. The elephant roller skate.
Elephant roller skate?
Yeah, I lived in, because of my best friend at the time, who was, great story, but I won't go too much into it. His father was the Colombian ambassador to the UK and was assassinated on the doorsteps. Left him more money than he ever knew because it was ill-gotten gains. So I was his roomie in a 4-bedroom mansion in Chelsea, which is the most expensive neighborhood in the world. It is 3 times more expensive per square foot than Atherton. Okay, 2 times more expensive than Tokyo or Hong Kong. And he had a mansion there. He lived by himself. He said, "Do you want the room downstairs? There are 4 bedrooms downstairs." He charged me £100, which at the time was $140 a month, to live in a mansion that cost 17 million quid, which is $25 million. And just me and him, 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom, and I lived in Chelsea. So why I got a Cinquecetta is because all I could afford. And if you guys know what a Fiat Cinquecetta is, it's the Fiat 500, the original version. Has 2 doors and a ragtop and 3 speeds. You can sit in it if you're over 5'10". I have a gentleman here 6'7". But if you're over 5'10", you could literally open the ragtop and pop your head out.
Oh, that'd be fun.
And it is as long as it is wide. And then why I bring this up is because in Chelsea, a lot of Persian money from the Middle East, and they all had Rollses and Bentleys. Nothing pisses off 2 guys with Rollses than a 1966 Fiat Cinquecetta parking in between them lengthway. We got more game in a $2,000 car than these guys in $500,000 because everyone just thought, who are these idiots? And I drove with 4 people, including me, in a Fiat Cinquecetta from London to Monaco.
Greatness.
It was just,
That's great.
I would no way try that stuff today. But when you have absolutely nothing, that's why for everybody about to start their business trek, get it out of your system now. Just have a laugh. Because when you're broke, everything's amazing.
Yeah.
Because you're broke. It's just awesome.
Yeah, everything's amazing.
But yes, 1966 Cinquecetta and a 1989 Honda CRX SI.
Dream
I've
car.
come a long way.
Oh yeah. And you said CRX in the States. That's one badass hatch, man.
God, it was so
a
good.
lot of people are starting to climb back into that era of I would say that's pre-Rad. It's still Radwood era, 80s. And you have
Honda just got their game on. If you look back in hindsight, the Accord, Civic, the Prelude, SI.
Oh my God,
the
dude, that was a
Mitsubishi
gorgeous car.
3000 GT, original Supras.
Yep.
I mean, the
Talon.
the Nissan 300ZX twin turbo, like the 240Z with the T-tops coming off in 1987. I mean, that was legendary stuff.
The MK3 Supra back then.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember, man. Those are all good, and the MK2, which is earlier 80s.
But as
those
much
are all
as
great
nostalgia is amazing, it doesn't take a peg on what you can buy today.
cars. No.
So what's your dream car?
I have them all.
No, there's one that you don't have.
What is that? What was that?
The Holy Trinity.
Oh, you're good man. Good man. He remembers. Yeah, would it be the 2014 McLaren P1? That's the one car I want. I don't want nothing else. I have everything that I want. But a McLaren P1, the Widowmaker. I absolutely want that. Black on black, simple.
Damn, that's a hell of a car, man.
Killer.
Who just bought one? Somebody just bought that one that got flooded, right?
Yeah, he's all over YouTube.
Yeah.
The thing is so tore up. It's
Yeah,
been underwater for a month.
Damn, it's Ed Bolian's friend.
The yellow one. Y'all had a Rolls Royce, one of your
Car
favorite,
Trek.
the Wraith.
Ooh.
All right, so I have my favorite McLaren P1. I'm just flipping the script. AJ, what's your dream right now? All insurance paid. You don't have to pay for anything. They just give it to you in your daily.
I think it's the same as Sharif's. I told you before, Apollo IE.
God. Wow. Yeah, I can see you in Apollo, Sharif.
Yeah, that is a pretty.
You can't even get
pretty
in the
badass.
Apollo.
I don't care, dude. That's
I don't
a
think you're 6'7",
Batman
you
car,
can get in
man.
there.
The Trinity exhaust on that is just nasty.
Yeah, it's a pretty.
Wasn't there
pretty
one at
fire
Monterey last year when you went? All the pictures in Carmel. We're all going to Carmel, by the way, for a week. It's going to be epic.
It is going to be fun. We're going to be there after everything, after all the work's done. We'll still be there for a couple of days, kind of finally get some relaxation in our post all the madness. But yeah, Monterey Car Week's going to be fun. We have multiple events that will be there. Exotics on Broadway, Monterey Motorsports Festival, the Haggerty's kickoff event on Wednesday, and so on and so forth. So there's going to be a lot of events going
Big.
down. If you have never been to Monterey Car Week, it is the mecca of car get-togethers. And everyone gets, I mean, you name it, the who's of the industry and people that are passionate about cars, from Jay Leno to all the YouTube influencers to anybody that's been working and wrenching on cars. If they have the time to make it, they definitely make it. So
I'm going to go ahead.
make sure you go there.
I'm going to plug the homies really quick. There is another event as well. It's more of like a car meet rather than a car event. We had a previous host on here, Johnny from Car Rad House, and a couple other good friends. We got Callie Creeman, Bay Area Euros. Bay Area Euros is a really good friend of mine, and Undevents as well. And that is called Fitment. It is in August or October 26th. It's like a week after Car Week. But yeah, definitely check that out. Go to Car Rad House or Bay Area Euros on Instagram. It's going to be huge. Like, it's going to be really huge. So if you're into car meets, not just events, car meets, definitely hit that up this year. I think it's October 26th. Isn't it October?
No, I think so. It's post Monterey Car Week, but
Yeah.
Monterey Car Week is going to be between all the events that we have, that WECFest, Fitment, and everything
Yeah.
else. There's a lot of automotive events coming up back to back to back every single month throughout the end of the year up until maybe November. No, even November is SEMA.
Yeah.
So it just never ends, man.
They're back at it again.
Yeah,
February.
Let me. So for the people listening in who've never been to a car meet or car show, whatever, people just think car show in a convention center. To kind of give the brevity of statistics, there is Monterey Car Week is only second to the Masters for the number of private jets at an airport. The Masters this year had 2,300 to 2,400 private jets that landed on a field. Make sure they build the field just for the private jets. That's the Masters. Monterey Car Week has 1,800 private jets. That is every billionaire on planet Earth. To give you some scope of how many private jets are there that can make it internationally, there's about 3,500. So that means half of the private jets that can make it over international waters have landed in Monterey for 5 days. It is the pinnacle of motorsport.
Nice.
It's for me, it's more than the Indy 500, more than Talladega at NASCAR, more than the Monaco Grand Prix. Monterey Car Week. It doesn't matter if you have a backpack and a 1989 Honda CRX. Go to Monterey Car Week. It will open your eyes to cars in general.
There it is.
Damn, right there, man. Oh, you were looking at there.
Hey, got some more sound effects. And
So-
at midnight.
No, man, that's he summed it up way better than I could, man. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, Monterey Car Week is going to be one hell of a lit time this year, and gets better and better post COVID. So everybody wants to get back outside and do things. So yeah, we'll be looking forward to a lot of events there. Looking forward to meeting a lot of you guys out there that are going to be coming by. Make sure to come by and see us at our booths at all the different big events and venues that we'll be present at. Last year we were right next to Christian von Koenigsegg, so that was pretty cool. We had our
Never
booth.
seen a Koenigsegg in person.
Yeah, we had our booth right next, like I think 1 or 2 booths away from Christian von Koenigsegg. So his Koenigsegg's were just coming by us. We walked over to his booth. I think we got a couple things signed. We walked back to our booth.
Yeah.
But that's the only place in the world where you get to be right next to people. You know, where our company's able to be right next to and around all these other heavy hitter companies because we're situated here in the Silicon Valley Bay Area, which is about an hour and a half away from Monterey. And for any of you guys wondering where we're at when we work on all these cool, crazy cars here. So from the Chicachetta, what is it called?
The 1960 Chicachetta to a
CRV.
Bentley
Even he struggles saying it.
Continental GT Speed.
Yeah,
Chick-
now
It's a hell of a
Bentley
generation.
GT Speed. Also, the Aston Martin's new hypercar, I guess you would say.
The Valkyrie?
Valkyrie.
Yeah, the Valkyrie and the Valkyrie
That's-
Pro.
Yeah, that's a pretty freaking dope car.
Next level.
I got a
It
homie
is.
shooting for that.
I would argue it's more that even the normal one, the street version Pro, is obviously track oriented. It is more of a Formula One experience than the AMG One. They got it right. The AMG One was developed late 2017. Didn't get it right. That's why everybody got a Black Series for free to hold on for another 2 years. But the Valkyrie is insane. It's next level. It's next level.
And I hear the Vanquish is going to be very similar to the Valkyrie, the new.
I have an allocation for a DB, quote unquote DB12.
Yeah. The silhouette, styling, everything else is going to be very.
I paid for it about 2 weeks ago. No one knows what it looks like, including me.
Yeah, well, they said it's going to be very similar to the Valkyrie styling, which is exciting as shit because that car is beautiful. And yeah, that would be a close to the for me personally on if I could own any car today, that would be very.
Did not
cool.
figure you for an Aston guy.
Yeah, I like.
But then a
British
Valkyrie's
cars.
not really an Aston. It's a Valkyrie.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think I'm somewhat partial to the British cars. So
What's that? Nowhere near as high level as the Valkyrie, but what's the new Alfa Romeo? Didn't they come out with a new one that looks like really good?
Alfa Romeo. You talking about the Maserati MC?
Oh, Maserati. That's what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the MC20.
Yeah, MC20.
And the MC20 Spider.
That's a badass.
That is
car.
a
fairly priced too.
Yeah, base is like 230. I looked at ones with 235, goes up to about 280. But even for 235, you're still getting all forged carbon interior. The problem is it's not a Ferrari 296 with the V6. It's a Maserati with a V6.
I thought
It
the
sounds
base
a
was
lot like a
100K.
Roomba that it's been heating up. So
Yeah.
you got to
The
put,
only
you know
issue
about
was
exhaust.
the
You've
sound.
got to put an exhaust on that thing. But for
Yeah.
the money, turns heads. I think it's Maserati's best foray, except the new Maserati. They finally got it right. The Gran Turismo, they made it all electric. And they're now saying it's the best all electric GT out there.
Did
They're-
you just say they finally got it right and then followed it up with
Maserati.
all electric?
Yeah.
You just
yeah.
said
I don't like electric.
We need to
For
clip that.
I am old enough that I will die in an ice.
They got it
Internal
right.
combustion
It's all
engine.
electric.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will never own an electric
I love
car.
the concept of it. Actually, we keep getting robbed of getting our electric car. That we've had this. I've told people, a lot of my Tesla clients since about 2014, 15. Oh yeah, I'll get a Tesla when they make a truck because we need one for the shop. And it's 2023, and we still don't have any Cybertruck yet. So that was the only Tesla that I've ever told my customers that I would be able to pick up. A lot of people have told us to pick up the Rivians or pick up this and pick up that.
Lightning.
And granted, the Lightning. And granted, I like them all. Even the Mach-E from Mustang and all the other cars that are out there. There's something for everyone, I think. But
Agreed.
I'm kind of like John in the aspect of I like my manual transmission petrol cars or just whatever it is that's just gas powered. And there's just driving so many electric cars every day. I just don't see I would love to maybe buy an electric car just for the daily, but I think for what I want to drive passionately, it's always going to be ICE cars.
Yeah.
And so we still don't officially own one electric car here yet, although we work on them all day long. So we'll see when the Cybertruck comes out because it's supposed to come with a Cyber Quad, which would be kind of cool, and just have them in the back. And it has a lot of cool features. But the DeLorean didn't have a very long run, and it was the only other exposed aluminum or metal car that I've ever seen that made it to some type of mass market.
They released a DeLorean as an all-electric now.
They have the new DeLorean, which is not a bad-looking car. That they sent me the notice out a couple months ago for deposit or allocation, but I didn't jump for it on that.
I just wouldn't be able to stop with the Back to Future references.
Yeah, I know. That's what everybody would have said. But and I don't know how well the Cybertruck's going to do being an exposed metal car. You can't bond to it. You can't fix it. You can't fix dents by just putting some bond over it. It's exposed metal. So it's going to be a challenge for people who have scratches and dents and dings because you got to pull everything. So, you know what I mean? You just can't put some putty on it and slap new paint.
I didn't even think of that, yeah.
That's but you can go to Scotty Chops and get anything and everything.
Or you can come to us and get full body PPF.
And there's the answer, kids. SS Customs.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I'm sure there were some couple of things you want to tap into before we wrapped it up with John today.
Hey, I'm so good. I wove him into the conversation.
Well, I want to thank my co-hosts. Wait a minute, that would make me a host, which I am not. So, AJ and Sharif, I really appreciate you having me here.
All up. Appreciate you joining us.
Absolutely. Thank
it's
you,
an absolute
gentlemen.
pleasure, my man. And it was it's obviously it's been something we've been itching to get out here. We haven't talked about clothes, fashion, discipline, a bunch of other aspects, which we will, since he's a part of our crew
when
now,
we
we'll be
launch
talking.
the new shop, which is more of a brand rather than just an aftermarket shop, as well as SS Customs done. I think the next step, it's a lifestyle. The new shop it's a lifestyle. It has merch. It has the optics I talked about earlier. It has the culture. It has the vibe, the visceral energy of working on electric and ICE. Yeah. And when we get there, we'll start talking about fashion, because that's what the brand will be. It'll be a fashion icon, lifestyle oriented, SS Customs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We've just relaunched the overall look of the brand. In terms of
it's very exciting.
Logos
so exciting.
And insignias and everything else. So we haven't officially announced everything, but that's coming down the line. So we've got a lot of things we're working on here at SS Customs. Make sure to stay tuned. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know how beautiful this man is here today in the comments. And make sure you let us know what was some of the best things you learned here today in terms of business entrepreneurship and whatnot. So thanks again.
Thank you all.
I give $5 to anybody who come up to him and call him the Pebble.
Oh shit! He's gonna get you. He's gonna tear you up, man. Much love, man.
All right, peace.